Hey, everybody, we welcome you to the postgame show. We will bring Jerry Reynolds in here in a moment, and very happy to be with you here for well, we got two more games after this. Jerry, it was not a bad game tonight. The Kings were up 104 to 101 with 2:53 left, and they only scored 1 point the rest of the game. They lost 110-105. But all in all, considering who was playing and who wasn't, it's a very competitive game.
Yeah, it was, and really, as you pointed out, had a legitimate chance to win. It didn't. I thought the Warriors went to a little bit of half court traps and pressure there late, and the Kings didn't handle it very well. But considering who, like you say, considering who played, got Killian Hayes played well, Cardwell, Reno, Nate Clifford had his moments. So yeah, it's they had Steph Curry, and the Kings didn't.
Yeah. What did you see down the stretch for the Kings really having the 104-101 lead with just under 3 minutes left, and then things went cold for the rest of the game? What did you see there?
Well, I thought it was just a matter of the Warriors really putting better defensive pressure, trapping the ball a little bit, and the Kings really, and that's one of the things with Killian, he couldn't really get away from the defenders.
Yeah.
And down the stretch, that really hurt him. As long as he's able to move freely, he really was very effective. But once they really put the pressure on him, then they really couldn't penetrate the ball. It was just simply couldn't score, couldn't get in score, and they really couldn't get in scoring position very much. I mean, Doug McDermott had a couple of decent shots, which he certainly could have made, but yeah, a little bit disappointing down the stretch, I guess. But I mean, the truth of it is, the Warriors are playing for something, and the Kings really aren't.
Well, and the other truth is the Kings would have been better off having that game end the way it did because the Nets won tonight, and the Nets have 3 games left, and one of those games is against the Indiana Pacers, and now the Kings and the Nets are tied in the loss column. The Jazz lost tonight, so again, we're looking at 2 more games left, and we don't know how it's going to end up. What you do know is the game tonight was lost 110 to 105. One thing that really hurt the Kings tonight, when you look at a close game, was their free throw shooting. They didn't get to the line a lot, and they missed 5 of 17, 12 of 17. Close game, you look at little things like that, Jerry.
Yeah, you do. And I thought both teams were sloppy with the ball. I think the Warriors were better at turning turnovers into points. I thought they capitalized a little better. I thought the game itself was really a fast-played game. I liked. I mean, the refs weren't really, basically calling too many silly fouls, and the game, both teams, just went in there and played and got the thing over in a couple hours.
Yeah, it was. It was a fast-moving game. There's no question about that. We keep on talking about some of the players that we try to figure out where they're going to be. And Devin Carter got another run tonight. Didn't do a lot offensively. Only took 5 shots. Did have 5 assists. Again, we're seeing him play on a fairly regular basis. He can't say he hasn't had his opportunity when we get to the summer, right? He's had now a good look over the last month or so of the season.
Yeah, I think he has. And, you see moments, but you don't see enough of them right now. I mean, I think that even though this would be his 3rd year, I think summer league is going to be awfully important for him too. I mean, I think that would be the case with all of them. I mean, he's a year ahead, but then he really didn't have a rookie year. But it's I think Clifford, like I say, Clifford's had some really good moments, and some he kind of blends in there. Again, we've talked about him before. I think he's got a chance to be an awfully good defender, but he fouls too much. It's just the little ticky-tack fouls, and that's probably a pretty good problem to have. I think he can clean that up but his positioning is good. He's got good instincts. No reason he can't be.
All right, let's talk about Nate Clifford. He played 36 minutes tonight. He was 4 of 14 from the field. He didn't shoot the ball well. He didn't shoot the ball well from 3. He was 1 of 4. He did have 6 rebounds, but I'm the word I'm looking for with him is consistency. He does show us at times, as you like to say, a lot of the tools in the toolbox, but the toolbox on too many nights is missing a lot of tools, right? Like I don't know how else to say it.
Well, that's a good way, and I mean a lot of it just goes back to shooting. I mean,
Yeah.
he really for his position, he's got to shoot the ball better,
Hmm.
and I think for the most part, his energy and effort is pretty consistent on the other parts of the game. But he's a guard, a wing, and in the league today, you got to make shots.
Yeah.
If you're going to play big minutes, you've got to make shots.
What else? What else do you think? All right, so we talk about making shots for him. What else do you look at as a priority in this offseason?
I think as much as anything else, and I don't know if it's even his fault, but I think the team has got to find out what his best position is. They kind of move him around, and they'd like for him to be a multi-position guy, and I think eventually he could be, but I think first they need to find a position where he can really be productive and as you say, a little more consistent.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you a question. We'll keep it to the sport of basketball, but I did a rant on this today. And watching the championship game last night, and it's one of the reasons why I don't watch college basketball that much anymore. You look at Connecticut, they go 9 of 33 from beyond the three-point line. They shoot 31%. And the champion, they go 2 of 15 from beyond the arc, and they shoot 38%. And I watched the way the game is played, both in the NBA level and the college level. There's such an emphasis on three-point shooting. Yes, I'm aware that Michigan got to the line 28 times and pounded the ball in and everything. But the point is, when I watch college basketball now, I pretty much watch the same game the whole time, where it's a three-point shooting game. When I watch the NBA, it's pretty much the same way. That's another reason why I admire DeMar DeRozan so much, because he plays differently than almost every player in the league now, right? But what do you think about the way the game is played? Now, I know how you have been talking about for 15 or 20 years now, get rid of the corner three, and you really think that helps. But just overall, Jerry, the game of basketball to me needs an overhaul. And I'm talking about in this country. I'm not talking about worldwide. It just needs to be fixed. There's a problem to me with the way it's being played.
Well, I agree with that. I mean, I think that the over dependence on the three ball, especially when it's not that effective, and so many times, that's like you point out in the championship game. Now, both those teams shoot the ball better against other teams, but they were both terrific defensive teams, and even when they got open threes, I think they were almost surprised to be open. Yeah, I think. And when you look at some of the best team in the league in the NBA, certainly Oklahoma City shoots the three, but they depend on getting to the basket. I mean, you look at the great scorers; they're playing the mid-range game and getting to the basket, drawing fouls, all that, and I think that's where the game as a whole is allowing too many mediocre players to take too many 3-point shots. And it's not productive. As you know, I've always been on the thing. If you're not averaging, if for every shot you take, you've got to produce about 1.3 points. And if you can do that by getting high percentage twos and drawing fouls, well, so much the better.
Yeah.
And we're seeing so many games to where guys are taking 15 shots and getting 12 points because they're shooting a lot of three balls.
Jerry, since we're doing a Kings and the Warriors game, and we have a lot of Warriors fans and basketball fans in general that watch both these teams, the Warriors are close to needing to hit the reset button, aren't they?
Yeah, they really are. It's it's tough because you got Curry near the end probably of his career. Maybe another top year if he could stay healthy. Draymond isn't quite the same player either, and now Jimmy Butler. Where is he going to be? So. I mean, as far as them being serious contenders, they're just not, and with their current roster, they're not going to be.
Yeah,
they're ahead of the Kings, but for a franchise that pride themselves on not only winning championships but being competitive, and here they are in the play-in for the second straight year, so that tells you a lot. And yeah, they. And they're like the Kings in a way too. How do they go about it? They've got they don't. It's going to be a tough slog for them to get back to where they're a serious competitor.
Yeah, it's a really bad look in the West this year when the Warriors are going to get into the play-in and they're 5 games under 500. They're 37-42, and it's just even Portland in ninth, and they've had a nice year based on where they were last year, but they're only a game over 500 at 40-39. The eighth place Clippers are only 2 games over 500. It just doesn't look good. You know what I mean, Jerry? It just doesn't look good.
Well, and of course, that's the thing with the play-in. When you're going that deep, you're going to get teams with losing records. That's kind of like a little bit like the college bowl game where you have a bunch of
Yeah.
6-6 teams in meaningless bowls. But
Well, at least
I
in
mean,
the East, all 4 teams that are going to be in a play-in are going to be over 500. So, and again, I'm not saying the East is better than the West, but the standings at least look better. I just hate when I see a team like the Warriors, who are currently 5 games under 500, and that's probably where they're going to end up being a chance to go into the playoffs. That's just not the way you play 82 games for, in my opinion.
well, I do think you're making a good point. I mean, I think the West is at the top is much better than the East, but the
Yes.
overall depth of the East is probably a little better right now. As you say, you get the Miami's and those teams are over 500, and they're going to be in play-ins or that, and then you got some young emerging teams like the Atlanta Hawks and Charlotte Hornets that are probably have kind of made the transition and probably be threats going forward in the next couple of years.
Good point right there. Let's get to New Works Plumbing. They've got a fix for you, whether it is water heaters, water line repair, sewer repair, water filtration, gas lines. They do it all. 916-713-1010 or go to newworksplumbing.com. That's NEWWRXplumbing.com. New Works Plumbing. They have got a fix for you. Also brought to you in part by Bennett, Sacramento, Roseville, and the West Side Grill in Rockland. Bennett's Prime Seafood and Steaks. Go to bennettsrestaurants.com. That's bennettsrestaurants.com to make a reservation, and maybe we'll see you out at one of their 3 locations. Well, Jerry, only 2 games left. Thank goodness. Only 2 games left, and then you can sort out what you need to do in the offseason, which is going to be much easier said than done this year. That's for sure.
Yeah, it is. I mean, Scott Perry and his staff are really got a big job ahead of them. Obviously, decisions with some of the roster guys they currently have, the draft itself, but clearly they need to make trades and really change the roster significantly. And of course, the other part of it is good health, which this team didn't have, but. What team does have good health anymore?
Yep.
I'm not sure any team does, but yeah, it's going to be probably as big a summer as the Kings have ever had, and they don't have a lot of cap room. It's going to be tough. I wish him well. I just don't know if he can get everything done that he needs to get done in one summer.
Well, we're right back to where we were 12 months ago. The first thing you need to do is get a point guard.
Yeah, I mean, certainly they might be able to do that in the draft. If not, they need to address it some way or another. Killian Hayes, looks like he might be a roster guy and could do that, but you don't want to trot him out there 35 minutes every night. I don't think
you can't have a point guard that can't shoot.
Yeah. I think, like I say, I worry less about that than I do is just quickness of breaking down defense.
Yeah.
Yeah, because at some point, when you look at the guys that really good at the position, I mean, they can, Russell Westbrook can still beat people off the dribble.
Sure.
And get all the way to the basket. And so that's kind of the first thing you look at. So, yeah, I think that's going to be obviously on the list. I mean, this is a team that could use another big wing for sure. I mean, so much depends on the draft, because if you happen to get AJ Debinsa, well, that solves the wing problem and size and length there, but it doesn't solve your point guard spot. Yeah. Or, maybe whether it's, Acuff or someone like that at point guard, well, that might solve the point guard problem, but you still could, I don't know. I mean, I'll go back to this, Grant. We've talked about this before. The Kings have some good players.
Yes, they do.
Counting the guys that are hurt. I mean, they've got some good players. What they don't have is the guy. You
I
know,
talked about that on the radio show today. That's exactly
yeah,
right. Because I was talking about if the Knicks have a quick out, which I could see happening this year, quick for them would be not making it to the finals of the Eastern Conference. I think you're going to go all in to get Giannis Antetokounmpo. And whether you like Giannis or not, he is a guy. He is one of the guys
yes,
in the league. Like, you can't deny that. Now, I know he's had some injuries, but the reality is he's one of the guys. He's a difference maker. He's a guy that can take you to the promised land because he's already done it.
yes, exactly. I mean, I always go back to the Kings of the early 2000s. I mean, Chris Webber was the guy. They had a lot of other players, but he was at his best. He
Mm-hmm.
was a top 10 player in the league. And you just, you can't win consistently in the NBA. It's a talent league, it's a star league. We all know stars get a little help. And if you don't have one of those guys, you're not going to be a 50 plus type win team.
Yeah.
And right
That's
now,
going to be how many teams do you think right now in the NBA can win a championship? If would we include Oklahoma City, San Antonio, and Denver in the West and stop right there, and then
yeah,
go to
I
the
would.
East? Okay,
Yeah. I don't think anybody other than those three, and I think they're all three capable. And in the East, I think Boston is legit. They've proven it. They've done it. And so, but the Knicks, they're a fringe. I don't know if they're good enough to win a championship. They're probably good enough to beat a team that could win, win the
yeah.
championship. And same way with Detroit, even with Cade Cunningham, I don't quite see that. But so what I'm saying is, I really see about four teams that could actually win it, and three are in the West.
Right.
And you look at their talent. Who do they have? Well, they've got major stars, proven major stars.
Well, the good news about Detroit and Cade Cunningham is he's coming back, so that's encouraging for them. They're going to be number one in the East. Boston is going to be two, and then either the Knicks or Cleveland is going to be three. Quite frankly, I know Detroit has given the Knicks some real fits this year. As a matter of fact, they've owned them. But if I'm the Knicks, I'm not so sure I want to see Boston right now until I have to see them.
Oh,
So right,
yeah, I agree with you there.
yeah,
Yeah, I think that right now Boston's a better team, and a lot of it has to do with health going in and all that.
sure.
Boston, I mean, they just keep getting a little bit better because of Tatum's more time he gets, and yeah, I like the Knicks better than Detroit. Regardless, I just think their experience might get them there, and I think a wild card really is Cleveland.
Yeah.
And I think, to be honest, Keon Ellis and Schroeder have helped those guys. And obviously,
Keon Ellis. Keon Ellis. Oh, you know what? Is that the guy last night that started again?
yeah,
Had
eight,
19 minutes on 11
18
or
points.
19 points on 11 shots, along with 8 assists last night in 27 minutes. Is that the Keon Ellis that was on the Kings?
That would be the exact same guy.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I mean, and that gives, because Schroeder's playing pretty well. I mean, it gives them the depth that I think that could allow them to compete with those teams, and where they couldn't last year. And so, so anyway, that's yeah. I mean, I think the Keon Ellis thing really is just one of those things that I'll never understand.
Me neither.
You
Me
know,
neither.
for for all the talk about needing the defenders and 3-point shooters, and
Yeah.
he was outstanding at both and was constantly jerked around.
Unbelievable. Jerry, you have a good night. Appreciate your feedback. Only 2 more games. 2 more games.
2 more games, and then they
Yeah.
can't hurt us anymore, can they? They can't.
All
All
right. Take care.
right.
Thank you, Jerry.
Take care.
All right. Bye-bye. All right. We got some calls to get to. Rhino was off tonight, as you can see. He'll join us again for the next edition on the post-game show. Johnny, what's going on?
Hey, what up, Grant?
What's up, Johnny? What can I do for you?
Hey, I'm just having a beer here, and I just wanted to talk to you about Doug Christie.
Yeah.
I just wanted, I think he's a really good coach, great for this
Okay.
young team. He's really nice. I think the players really like him, and he was a great defender when he played.
A great what?
But he might be young, but I think that we should give him some time. Because bald head coaches are the best.
Okay.
I think.
Let's get to Kaz. What's up there, Kazzy? What's going on, buddy? Let's get you on. Let me get up. We lost you already. Got to call back, man. Got to call back. All right. Said 100% agree in regard to Keon and Davion. Open forum tonight. Well, this is what we're doing. This is a post-game show. This takes place of my open forum show. All right. Okay. So no, once we get done with this post-game show in a couple of minutes, then yes, we will be adjourned for the night. I don't know if you know it or not, but I do a 3-hour talk show during the day and then do this. And I don't really see the need for doing an open forum show when I have this show. All right. Just saying. I hope you understand that. I'll do an open forum tomorrow at 7 o'clock. I'll announce it for you right now. Tomorrow at 7 o'clock, I will have my open forum Wednesday show. Okay? Ready to roll tomorrow, 7 o'clock. Good? Is that good for you? I want to make sure you're happy. All right? I'm trying to do my best here. I want to make sure you're good. I want to make sure that you're happy with the schedule. All right? I appreciate it, but I want to make sure you're good to go. Sunrise Landing, they're good to go. Right now, they've got three homes that are available for immediate move-in, and they also have 4 to 5 that are almost completed with being built where you can choose the interiors, all right? All these beautiful models to choose from with no Melrose and no homeowners. But again, this Blazona development project, Sunrise Landing, with right now 3 homes available for immediate move-in. Keep that in mind, all right? All you need to do to get information and see exactly what I'm talking about is go to CalusaSunrise.com. That's CalusaSunrise.com. It's adjacent to the Calusa Golf and Country Club. Easy access, I-5, Highway 45, Highway 20. That's CalusaSunrise.com. And you will be able to check out Sunrise Landing in Calusa. Kings go cold down the stretch tonight. They only scored 1 point in the final 2:53. But you know what? You didn't want to win this game tonight. Not after the Nets won. Doug McDermott is a good player. Doug's a great guy, I'll tell you that. I love the man. He really is. Said Keon Ellis could barely play for the Kings. Now he's starting for a playoff team. Yeah, well, I think you've heard what I have to say on that topic many, many, many times. Many times. Many times. Don't forget tomorrow, Olden Polynice at 4 o'clock. We'll talk to OP about college basketball, about the NBA. And you never know what else with Olden Polynice. That's coming up tomorrow at 4 o'clock. What else you want to talk about tonight? All right? PK needs to call in. I don't know what happened to PK. I think PK gave up on the season. Okay? I really do. I think PK just said, I'll see you next year. I really think that's where we're at with him. All right? Keon had a huge game last night. I read the numbers. Yes, exactly. I did indeed. All right, we'll talk to you tomorrow at 3 o'clock, Fox Sports Sacramento. Make it a good one, everybody. Appreciate it. The Warriors win tonight, 110-105. They'll do it again in 48 hours, and then we'll talk about it right after the game. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.